So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for the I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones, I'm coming for the I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Blasting the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step. back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Happy Monday, February 9th. We got a couple new filings to talk about for AMC. We got a stock price that's down almost 10% today. I'm sure a couple of you probably wondering, what do I think is going to happen next? Maybe we'll talk about that if you care to know. If not, we'll just sit back and have a beer together because it is Monday night. What do we drink? AMC is a stock I report on. I have not owned it since 2024. I own other movie company stocks that are profitable, but we've been talking about the risk, including today's filing, of why I don't own it for 14 months now. And I'm just observing. I'm not opposed to swing trading or taking a long position in AMC again, but I've got to have an edge, and my due diligence, my analysis keeps telling me that the company's low on cash, they're low on shares, and they're probably going to need to dilute. We got the vote out of the way. We're not low on shares anymore, but we have Q1 cash burn, and we knew that the company recently just increased their ATM capacity from $50 million to $150 million. So it was reasonable in my due diligence, my expectations, just being a logical, non-emotional trader, that we would see a $150 million offering. And we got it today. I was expecting it last week, but we got it today. Close enough for government work, as we used to say in the Air Force. Close enough. February 2nd, February 9th. You know, sometimes these things take a few extra days due to market conditions or paperwork or what have you. And as we know, they also had to file the S3, the updated S3 ASR. We got that this morning, and then we got the prospectus. Tonto says, have a drink for me. Well, we'll do this one in your honor, Tonto. AMC Kitty Cowboy, howdy. Anya, Tiny Boat Angler, what's up? Karen, Palm Prowler, how you doing? Who else? Gabel says he made more this week than his whole investment on AMC. Tell us what you did. Even if you don't want to tell us what you did, we are happy for you. Congratulations. Production crew, you are early. You're right on time. We're just getting started. And this will probably be a short live stream tonight. I always say that. It's just going to be an hour. And then next thing you know, we're having so much fun, it's 2 hours. Or if y'all have good questions and I'm entertained and you're entertained, we'll keep going. The wife is at work. I don't know how much longer she'll be working. She's getting very close to the due date. Our third little boy, my third little boy, arriving in less than 2 months now. Very excited about that, as is the wife. But she's at that point where, moving around is starting to get uncomfortable. How many times can I hit the like, Anya? Thank you. Hit it from every device possible. That's all I can say, Anya. I put up on the screen here in red a comparison to the offering that was done 14 months ago. Remember back in November here, I told you guys I was selling at 434. I got out at basically break even. I had been buying, right before that, 420, 419, 430, 440. And I said, my cash flow analysis a year ago said, we're going to be in trouble in Q1 and there's likely an offering coming. And I don't care about making a profit. I don't want to get run down in price. And so I exited the trade. Everybody hated me. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand the market, AMC, blah, blah, blah. Couple weeks later, 50 million share offering, and then the price got dropped by $2 a share. I don't know what to tell you. Learn to do cash flow forecasting or join the Discord where we talk about it to the point where it gets nauseating. We talk about 200 other stocks too, but we pay particular attention to this one because there's just so much misinformation, so much hopium, rainbows and unicorns, I call them, and so much bearish hate. And I'm not in either camp. I'm a trader. I look at these things unemotionally. And if I have an opportunity to go in long, I will. And if I think I'm going to lose money, I won't go in long. I'll just wait. And I've been waiting 14 months now, and that's fine with me. My money is working in profitable entertainment companies that are up quite well since late 2024. And we got dry powder ready to go if AMC gets done with this dilution. 50 million shares back in December of 2024, December 6th. The offering was completed by January 16th. Yeah, this yellow line, just only 6 weeks. And now we have this new one over here in red, $150 million, which we anticipate will be slightly over 100 million shares, 125, whatever it takes to get $150 million into AMC's balance sheet. So I call it roughly twice the size of the one from a year ago. And I put on the thumbnail, the offering is to save the bacon for Q1. Because why do I say that? Do you remember what the cash burn was Q1 a year ago? It was over $400 million. Do you know how much cash AMC has right now? How much cash does AMC have right now? What did they tell us back on January 29th or whatever date it was? They have, wherever that press release was, they have like $420 million. And if we look at cash burn Q1 a year ago, I'm not, I don't know what it's going to be this year exactly, but last year it was $417 million negative free cash flow. They did a cash raise 14 months ago that saved their bacon. They raised $169 million through ATM and forward last year, making the net cash flow, this negative free cash flow, plus what they raised, only $253 million. That is exactly what they are doing again. $400 million is what they're going to end Q4 December with. And somewhere between $400 million, $200 million a year, 2 years ago, $200 million Q1. I'm looking at free cash flow, cash burn. Somewhere between $200 and $400 million is going to be burned this Q1. And so they don't want to get to a point where they only have $0, $100 million on the balance sheet. They're going to raise money. This was easily forecastable by anybody who could step back, take off the rainbow glasses, stop looking at the unicorns, stop telling people they're going to win, and do some fucking cash flow analysis with your common sense hat on, as if you were a CPA, as if you had 1 or 2 degrees in business. No nonsense, no hopium in business. It's black and white. And Sean Goodman, being the CFO, is going to approach liquidity risk management exactly the same way. He's not going to take any chances, which is why I've been telling you guys this was going to happen. It's not, I don't feel vindicated that I was right. This is a horrible day for many people because they were told by everybody else on social media this would not happen. And even today, those same people are telling them, well, it's just the ability to raise 150 million. It doesn't mean they're going to do it. Fucking A, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Stop with the nonsense. They need the cash. It's okay. It's saving the bacon for Q1. It's okay if you were not in the trade. If you're in the trade, you're probably going to get walked down on the price. And that is why, even though I take all the arrows and the barbs and the insults, I have been telling you to expect this so you could think about what you wanted to do before this week got here. You've had plenty of time of knowing this was coming. Not just from me, from the company filings. I'm just reading what the company's given us. I'm not super smart. I just read and apply logic. Oh, yeah, duh. A, B, C, duh. Of course they're going to raise money. When is it going to be done? That's the next question we're asking in the Discord. And I look back at a year ago, it was done in 6 weeks, but 50 million shares. And the price got walked down from 556 to 350 and then all the way down to 230. So are we going to drop 50% now over the next 3 months? I don't know. I don't want to be overly bearish. I see people telling you it's going to 75 cents. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not predicting that in my Discord that it's going to 75 cents, but I certainly wouldn't rule anything out. I think we are going to have a period of weeks where if there is no surprise good news, there's just going to be selling of shares. Selling a share, selling a share, selling a shares for weeks until the offering is complete. And then all the bad news is behind us, but there's not all the bad news behind us. At some point in here, I was expecting that the 154 million of exchangeable notes that you voted for in December to give the company more shares so they could give shares to those lenders. At some point, I expect those notes are going to be exchanged for 100 million shares plus. I thought it would be done before this ATM, but see, I was wrong. It was not exchanged before the ATM. So now what? We know that the short interest has been massively increased since the vote. It is still my belief that those very same lenders are the ones applying the short. They're hedging their bonds. It's bond arb. They knew the price was going to get walked down. They benefit from the price getting walked down because they get a better conversion rate. And they could, in my view right now, as I was thinking about what happened, how did I get the order of events mixed up here? If they're short, they don't care if the price keeps going down due to an ATM because they have their bond hedge in. They've got their short. If the price goes down, they make more money. But eventually they will close. That is a point of interest to me. What is the date that those mother effers are going to close that short? Where they're going to flip and exchange those notes to shares and where they then want the price to go up. What is that date? I think that is the magic date to think about. And I don't think it's going to be tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to be a week, and I don't think it's going to be in 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be some period several weeks from now. Anya says Tony's secret is he has a crystal ball. Oh, man. What other comments we got here? Questions so far? I know I've been ranting. Clark says, I believe AMC is a dead dog. I'm not that pessimistic, Clark. I'm not going to say it's a dead dog. They have the ability to raise cash, and they have lenders that are willing to work with them to push maturities. So is bankruptcy imminent? I think that is an over exaggeration as long as box office improves Q2 through Q4, and I believe that it will. Does that mean the company's going to be flooded with cash? No, but at the very minimum, I don't want more share offerings for liquidity. We only had to do one last year in Q1. This year, I expect will be better than last year. So let's get this bad news behind us and then see if we have a trade here. It's still speculative. It's still risky. This is not for everyone. I'm not telling you to buy the stock. I don't even know if I'm going to buy it. But if I see a moment where I think I have an edge to take a long, high volatility trade, albeit risky, I might do it. And if that day comes, I'll let you know. I'm not against AMC. I'm not shorting it. I just don't like... I don't like these people that go on social media every day and say, I bought the dip, thanks for the discount. And then it goes down 10% more tomorrow. And then the next day, 9.5%. And then the next day, 9.5%. I mean, at some point, you got to pull your head out of your own ass and look up and say, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Now, that moment for me came many years ago when AMC, I saw they were running out of shares 2022, out of shares and out of cash. And the price, nothing that we had hoped would happen in terms of a second squeeze was happening. We had to pull our head out of our own ass and start looking at this trade a different way. And I get it. There's still people, believe it or not, here in 2026 that have head firmly planted in ass. They still won't look up, let the emotion and the social media hype go away, and just look at this black and white numbers. I might make it look easy how we predict stuff here because we get it right so often. It's not difficult. You just got to let everything that you've been programmed on social media, cash, the tweets. We have no cash problem for Q1. They have the 150 million, but that doesn't mean they're going to use it. All bullshit. Bullshit from people who have loud voices, who can't be honest with themselves and they certainly can't be honest with you because they don't want the hate that I get. They don't want to lose their audience. I don't care about that. The only thing I care about is having the best accurate information I can for my trades and not lose money. Set myself in a position to enter a trade when I'm most likely to make money. And if I enter a trade and I'm wrong, get the fuck out. Don't write it into the dirt. Know your exit plan before you take the trade. I'm going to get to your questions in just a second, but I said not all the bad news is out yet. We talked about the ATM, that bad news. All right, we got it. We talked about the exchangeable notes and the short interest that I think the lenders of those notes applied. You've seen the short interest. It's ridiculous. They're not worried. These lenders that are hedging their bonds, they're not worried. They got guaranteed delivery of shares from AMC. If Roaring Kitty came back and the price jumped to $5, yeah, they'd have a headache on their hands. Don't get it twisted what I'm saying, but in general right now, they're not worried about being 22% short, whatever, 26. They don't care. They have guaranteed delivery. As long as volatility doesn't go crazy, the price doesn't spike, they're going to be okay. And if the price does spike, they're still going to be okay. They're going to need to manage their ARB. They're going to need to manage their hedge. They might not make as much money as they had anticipated because they'll take a loss closing some of the short. But they're not going to go bankrupt. They're in the catbird seat. These frickin' hedge fund predatory lenders, I call them, that gives AMC money for these exchangeable notes. They know exactly what they're doing. So we got to get that behind us, the exchange of notes. We got to get that short position closed, which at some point when it's favorable to them, they'll close the short and go long. I think, because look, if the company makes it through March, things start getting better. This short is not about non-belief in AMC. It's about hedging their bonds ahead of an ATM, ahead of a weak Q1. It's very simple in my mind. Some people are going to disagree. That's fine. In my mind, this is all logical, black and white, easy to see. It's join the matrix, guys. The other bad news, I really don't even want to mention this, but someone asked in the Discord, and I get it, and in the comments too, it's a concern out there. I'm not talking about it because I already get enough people saying, hey, you're covering the filings and you sound bearish. I'm just reading AMC's words and interpreting it for you because no one else will fucking do it. They don't have the balls. But there is that specter, that risk, that concern about a reverse split, right? Can we touch the third rail here for a second? I'm not talking about a reverse split because none has been proposed and a vote would be required. But I'm also just going to say I would not rule it out. It's not something you're going to hear me talking about, because I don't want to be that fear monger guy talking about something that hasn't even been proposed. But if the price starts getting down below $1 for 30 days, that ghost is going to come up and we might have to talk about it. So it is something that I'm aware of. I'm not ignoring it, but I'm not going to be talking about it every day because it's just something you factor into your risk matrix and then hope to hell that the price doesn't get run down that much. Anyways, let's get Q1 behind us. God damn, I'm so ready to be into Q2 and beyond. Anya says, let's say there is a turnaround. How fast can it possibly go up? Anya, I think let's say that the short position right now on AMC is not a bet against it. This is hypothetical, right? Let's say it's just bond hedging, and at some point they're going to clean that up. That's going to be I don't know if it'll be buying because they'll get delivery of shares from AMC, but it's less shorting, and maybe the price can get some more normal price action without all of the negativity and extra shorting that's being applied. M. Savick says, I got my head so far up my ass, my toes are dangling. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Clark says, I got rid of the emotion a long time ago. I'm so happy to hear that, Clark. Once you can let the emotion go, all of your trades in every ticker are going to get so much better. Clark says, if they sold 150 million shares at once, do you think that would crash the price below $1? No, Clark. See, what they did was a hybrid offering today. So it's an ATM or it could be a forward collar. And the forward enables AMC to get paid today. Let's say they wanted to give Goldman 75 million shares. They're going to get paid today. And now they have enough bills to pay their Q4 accounts payable, which is, I believe, their main concern. And then Goldman, over the next 2-3 months, will get rid of those shares. So I don't think there's going to be like a $150 million sale tomorrow that's going to tank the price. If anything, there'll be maybe a walk down like we had here over a period of weeks. And AMC, if they're doing some ATM in addition to any forward collar, that could also be some extra selling pressure and walk the price down. This one that we watched last year, nobody really knew what to expect. I'm still not going to say I'm an expert on the mechanics of how the forward collar can be predicted because they don't give us enough details in advance. I know generally how it works, and I can look at what happened to the price last year in this same scenario. So I'm expecting a slow walk down. Mr. Premium of the option says, per Benzinga, AMC hit new all-time low today. Not going to get saved this time around. All they got to do, in my opinion, for now, is get through Q1. And 150 million, in my best estimation, will give them enough liquidity. And by liquidity, I heard some GME people today live streaming saying, AMC has no liquidity. Why are they offering shares today? They were thinking liquidity meant trading volume. Liquidity means cash on the balance sheet, and it's always low in Q1. And the most bills from Q4 hit in Q1. So liquidity risk is a real concern in Q1. It is specifically called out on the first 3 pages of a 10Q, working capital risk related to Q1. This is no surprise to any of you who read. If they have enough liquidity to get through Q1 and then their cash flow break even or positive Q2, Q3, Q4, and they've already worked out a deal with the lenders to push the maturities of 2026 further out. We're waiting on details of that. Then they have time. They have time, but everything then falls dependent on box office. You got to have box office, which is why, even though I don't own the stock, I go see movies. I buy a meal there at the dine-in theater. That's what I can do to contribute. I'm already going to go to movies anyways, whether I owned AMC or not, whether AMC existed or not. I'm going to go to movies. I always have. My contribution is providing revenue, and if you're complaining about anything and you're not going to see movies, then I don't know what the heck is wrong with you. A lot of people like to complain, but they don't like to do anything. And shout out to the people that are actually going to the movies. That is the best self-bailing of the boat you can do. You can't do anything about the share price. The only impact you can have is revenue. V-Chain says, what's up, buddy? He says, my belief is AMC hands are on the 1 million Hycroft warrants. Someone asked me about that this morning. I was shocked that AMC didn't sell those warrants back in, a few weeks ago when Hycroft was trading over $50. That would have been another $45 million that they could stack liquidity on the balance sheet. And that would be less of an ATM that we'd need right now, but they didn't do it. So I don't know what to say. Either they were asleep at the wheel, which I don't think so, or I'm going to be positive and say hopefully they are expecting good news from Hycroft when the technical report with economics is published later here in Q1. That's all I got. I mean, if there's bad news from Hycroft, then AMC really blew it. But I'm not expecting bad news from Hycroft, other than the fact that it's going to be a few years till they get into mining because they got to build a milling plant and that's going to cost $1 billion, yada, yada, yada. But hey, if the price of silver and gold are high enough, that becomes workable. And if it wasn't workable, Eric Sprott, in my opinion, would not be buying Hycroft. So maybe AMC is just like, hey, let's be patient. Maybe we can do better than 40 million profit. So does that make sense when I call this ATM saving the bacon of Q1? This is about surviving January through March. There's a real risk. If the company has 400 million at the end of Q4, which they just told us, and the cash burn was the same as last year, 400 million, they are kaput without this cash raise. This is literally keeping them in business. So you can be mad about it, but they well telegraphed it. We've been talking about it. People try and shut me up, block him, he's a shill. Those people, I'm starting to think the people that are trying to shut up reasonable voices like me may work for the lenders because they need you buying the shares. They need you buying their short. All I'm doing is saying be patient and wait. You can get a better price. Who stands to benefit from telling you to buy every day? The fucking lenders that are shorting the stock. What happens if you're not buying? They can't short because the price would drop too fast. Some of these people that are pushing this stock, buy every day, thanks for the discount, got to be paid by the lenders. I don't, I got my conspiracy hat on. I get it, but some of these people make no sense to me. I am a cinephile. Yes, Anya. So this ATM is saving the bacon. It doesn't mean you need to participate in it. I'm not participating in it, but I can see it for what it is. Without it, this company is at extreme bankruptcy risk. With the ATM, they're probably going to be fine for Q1, and then they'll probably be fine after that for the rest of this year, unless something else bad happens in the world. Headstock Aram says, saving the bacon flavored popcorn. Ooh, man, that sounds good. We went to go try and see a sneak preview of Goat this weekend. Drove all the way across town. My wife was dragging a little bit on getting in the car. We get there. I said, where she had got the tickets from her work free. I said, where's the ticket? What's the auditorium? Where's our seat number? She's like, I just got this QR code on the email. And so we showed it to the guy. He's like, no, sorry. This first come, first serve auditorium is already full. I was like, son of a bitch, man. Drove all the way across town. And so we called an audible. And I said, you know what? We're gonna go to Strangers Chapter 3 in 30 minutes. And so I booked that. So that's what we saw this weekend, Strangers Chapter 3, with Madeline Pesh, the redhead. It's okay if you like the Strangers series. If you're not a fan of the Strangers thriller / horror / stabbing movie, then you probably won't like it. But it's got a redhead in it, so I'm going to go see it. And thankfully, Scarlett don't mind. She don't mind. V-Chains has been with AMC since September 20th and never leaving. Damn, bro. You're even before me. I didn't buy my first shares till late May 2021. Right? I mean, I got in lucky a week or two before the run-up. But it was because I missed the GameStop thing, and I spent a few months learning. How did I miss that so bad? Learn, observe, watch. And then I got some cheap shares and I got some cheap options and did really well in June of 2021. But I did sell those options. into the run-up. And if you're not aware of the lore of this channel, because Trey and Matt were telling people to keep buying options, I got so pissed that I started this channel a month later. After we got back from our honeymoon. As a matter of fact, thank you, AMC Options, for helping to give us a stress-free honeymoon in the middle of a pandemic when my businesses were suffering. September 20th, man, that's a long hold, the V-Chain. Fat Boy Slim in the house. What is up, Dan? Midway says AMC doing everything to stay afloat except let the stock run so investors can make money. I get it. I get that sentiment. I get that people are angry. I don't get the people that say the management is committing fraud, because I mean, if you've been paying attention, looking at any filings in the last 9 months, they have told you very clearly what's going to happen. On every earnings call, they tell you exactly what's going to happen. We are going to do everything we can to ensure adequate liquidity on the balance sheet and continue to repair the debt ratios. Black and white. All you got to do is listen. Listen to them, not to social media. I try to provide you that filter of like, here's exactly what they're saying. You better be fucking paying attention. But if I point that out to you, what they're saying, people will go on Twitter and say, block this shit. Block this shithead. You don't want to hear that negativity. I'm not being negative, for God's sake. I'm helping you understand what management said. There's nothing negative about it. It's just facts. Mark says, you took a redhead to see a redhead, Brave. I mean, that is true. I can't stare at the screen too long, Mark. All right. What are you looking at? I'm just kidding. She wouldn't be like that, but if it was a redhead in the grocery store and I turned my head, where were we? I think we were at the hospital and there was a chick that I thought I knew as we were leaving. And I was looking at her and she was looking at me, and then she smiled. And of course my wife saw that. And she's like, why'd that girl smile at you? Why were you looking at her? I mean, God bless her. At least she cares. I said, I thought I knew her, but I didn't. Why were you checking her out? I didn't even have my glasses on. I couldn't have checked her out if I wanted to. That is the truth, and that is what I told her, and it was fine. But she keeps an eagle eye on me. Mark, she keeps an eagle eye. When we first met, we were talking about this today. She had to deal with a lot of exes harassing, trying to get in front of, oh, look at me, Tony, I'm walking by. When we were out country western dancing, she's pretty good. She's pretty good at handling the jealousy stuff, but she's still a woman. She's still a redhead. Clark says, I only wish you would have started pumping videos sooner about AMC. I wouldn't have piled so much in. Well, I mean, Clark, I covered AMC very differently in 2021 and early 2022 than we did after that, late 2022. As the company started running out of shares and cash, the talk here began shifting. Still covered it, still covered the ticker, but we started focusing on the financials. And when you use the word pumping, I think what you mean is quantity of videos, right? Because I don't pump stocks. I don't tell people buy at any price, buy every day. I don't do that. Never have. I talk about what I'm doing and talk about my analysis, whether you like it or not. Some days you like it, some days you don't. If I'm exiting the trade, I will tell you up front, I'm exiting the trade. And I've done that several times and gotten many death threats because of it. It is what it is. I can just, and there's other tickers that I cover just like AMC that I might not own them. And people hate me just as much because I'm looking at them rationally, logically, black and white. Looking for what? An opportunity, if one exists. And if one doesn't exist, I'll tell you, in my view, from my perspective of risk, there's no opportunity here. I speculate in a lot of very risky stocks when I think I have an edge. And if I don't think I have an edge, I will sit out as long as it takes. That makes a lot of people mad. I get it. Tough shit. Learn to trade. Stop this buy and hold bullshit. Mark, I love it. You can always answer with, I thought she was a subscriber to the channel. I'm going to use that one. I'll use that one next time and tell you what she says. Pond Prowler says, have you ever tried a Crunch Wrap Supreme? That sounds like Taco Bell. And we don't do that. We're in Texas. We have real Mexican food. Clark says we lost 90% of our shares in the first RS. They might as well bring another RS and take the rest. I mean, that's a terrible way to look at it, Clark. If I thought for sure there was a reverse split coming, I would ask myself, why is there a reverse split coming? Is it because they just need to boost the price, or because they need to boost the price and do more dilution? And then I would think about what do I do in that situation? Which is why, if you recall, too much hate, I exited the trade in 2023 after the judge's decision. And I told you guys that I did that and why. And yeah, death threats and hate and blocks and all that. But they told us they were going to, once the judge approved the shares coming back together, that they were going to reverse split and that they needed to sell more shares. That same situation that we're in every Q1. So I exited the trade. And then when the dilution was done, I bought back in. Like, it's a very predictable pattern if people would wake the fuck up. New Mocha Joe says it's almost a crime to keep covering the stock. I understand the sentiment there. There are people that ask me, why do you cover it? I certainly am not covering it. I try and be as upfront that I don't own shares. I'm not recommending the stock. I'm covering it for 3 reasons, Joe. Number one, selfishly, I think that there are moments where I can identify a reasonable moment where most of the risk has been removed from the trade, and I might have a chance to trade it. However, I will say that is very risky, and I don't recommend that to your average person, because most people just aren't willing to sell if they're wrong, and they're not willing to sell if they're right. So look, if you're not willing to fucking sell, don't trade speculative stocks. When you got high volatility, you need to be able to capture it. So there is some personal, I'm looking for an opportunity. I've been waiting for 14 months, haven't seen one. If I see one in the future, I'll let you know. Number 2, there's a lot of people who hate this stock, who put out misinformation and lies. And I don't think that's fair to the people that are invested. And number 3, there are people who put out hopium and lies. And I also don't think that is fair to the people that are invested. You should have at least one person that is not emotionally tied to the play, that is trying to approach it from a non-biased perspective. And I don't short stocks. I would like to go long. I get it. It's risky as fuck. But I'm not going to go long until I have a reasonable edge. And that moment is not today. And it hasn't been since 2024 when I exited the trade. And the price proves that I have been wise and waiting. And that works for me. If you hate me for that, well, stay on the pumper channels. You prefer people that are wrong, I guess. Anya says, Tony, you always say in the Discord you learn how to handle the next stock by following AMC. I do say something to that flavor, Anya. Like, if you can understand and begin to predict what is happening with AMC, because so much is going on here, if you can start understanding this, there are not very many stocks that are this problematic for investors. I'd obviously prefer that you guys invest in blue chip companies with profits, a long history of profits going up and to the right, a long history of positive earnings, hopefully paying a dividend. I'd prefer that be the bulk of your portfolio, not all this risky bullshit. But if you're going to be wading around in the muck with us that enjoy a little bit of gambling with a small percentage of our portfolio, not full porting 100% of our money into GameStop or AMC, because that is company specific risk, and that is not, what's the word? I mean, if you're right, it's super intelligent, but in my opinion, no reasonable financial advisor would tell you that that is wise. You don't want to have all your money in one stock, but playing these high volatility speculative stocks can be fun. You just got to manage the size of your position according to the risk. And if you can learn to predict this shit to the level of certainty that we predict it, Anya, I mean, how many months have we been predicting exactly what has happened here on the chart? 14 months we've been predicting it. 14 months in a row. While everyone else is... If you can name that song, I'll send you a prize. Headstock Harem says, if you're way down after the reverse split and you know another RS is coming, does it make sense to buy a lot more shares before? No. No. Not if you think that they're going to do another reverse split so that they have a lower share count so they can dilute more. It was not chicken dance, no. This goes back to the 1970s, Pond Prowler. If I could whistle, I would whistle the part that Uncle Remus whispers. Oh shit, I just gave it away. Clark says, see, Tony, you're a real trader, and it's taken me a long time to finally get there and realize how stupid I was for buying AMC. I don't think anyone is stupid for buying anything, and I never pit stocks against each other. People say, oh, well, you talk about AMC, therefore you can't buy GameStop. This one dipshit said, you can't be in our club. Don't talk about GameStop. You can't be in our club. Am I dealing with like kindergartners out there? Are these GameStop YouTube channels, are they clubs? Club Med? More like Club Fed, the amount of bullshit lies they tell over there. I am a trader with a D. I don't want to be in any fucking club. I'm going to buy when it's cheap. I'm going to sell when I want to sell. I'm going to lock in profits, and I'm going to rinse and repeat. And I've been doing that with GameStop for years, and I will do that with AMC or any other stock. The people who are going to continue to lose in all of these retail tickers are the ones who can't pull their head out of their ass and learn to think like a trader, not a meme stock investor. I mean, it's fun. I get it. I enjoy all the memes. I laugh at it every day. The shit people post, it's funny. But don't let that drive your trading decisions. Don't let that drive your due diligence. Don't let that drive your predictive ability to see what is coming. The company's giving you filings. You know exactly what's coming. I'm trying to remember which that damn Uncle Remus LP that we had, Palm Prowler, when we were kids, with like 10 songs on it. I've got remnants of them still in my brain from 50 years ago. Remember back in the old days, some of y'all are old like me, where your entertainment on a snowy day where school is off is you'd get out your little record player and put on the record, and you'd listen to ghost stories or Brer Rabbit and Uncle Remus. And you'd freaking memorize those damn records. You'd listen to them so many times. Palm Prowler says, are you able to change the side of the screen that you're on? The chat blocks your mug on the TV. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, I could move myself if that's what you mean. I guess you're watching on your phone, right? Where is my camera box here? Burp, burp, burp. Oh, here we go. Like, is that better? They weren't 45s on you, they were 33s. Yeah, I've watched some people's live streams, Palm Prowler, where they're filming it in the phone format, and the whole bottom third of the screen is covered up by chat, which is really annoying if I'm watching it on my phone. To the left bottom corner. Well, yes, sir. Stand by. But then you can't see the chart. Screw it. We don't need to see the logo. You know where you're at. Monitor top right, monitor bottom right. Let's... Oh, look at that. 78 dink. I don't know if we ever had any 78. Now get rid of the guy smoking. Oh yeah, the mobster. Bye bye. Should I save this as a new layout? Which ones did people play at the wrong speed to hear the satanic stuff? Usually it would be 33s, and you just had to spin them with your finger to go backwards. I can't remember. I had Iron Maiden and Van Halen and Black Sabbath. I can't remember which ones it was that you were supposed to play backwards, but Ozzy Osbourne. It's funny how my musical taste has changed over the years. High school, it was all about Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Ozzy. I'm trying to think who else. I had records from Columbia House on. And then, you know, once you get to Texas, it becomes Tejano and country music. Dink-a-dink, dink-a-dink, dink. Led Zeppelin, yeah. Clark says, just curious, Tony, if you have taken a look at NWBO lately. I have not, but let's look at a couple of other stocks here real quick. Clark, top right. Top right, unlock. All right, I got GameStop here just real quick. It is flirting up here with the top of this supply zone, which I love to see. I'd like to see, you know, a week where we end above here and we can make this, or just keep trading here for a few weeks. That'd be cool. Where we form a new base here and then we can move up. But in general, as you guys know, we've been trading in this range for a long time for GameStop. This is July of 2025. June 2025. So what we're waiting for is good news from the company or Ryan Cohen, right? And today there was a little bit of good news. Maybe there was a little bit of rumor on Super Stonk that there was an employee meeting where they said they're going to be working with another company and they might be changing some things around. I really, think that maybe there is some deal with Best Buy coming. Could you imagine closing all the GameStops in the malls and the standalone locations, and GameStop maybe makes an investment or purchases Best Buy and then has a GameStop kiosk in each Best Buy? And then Ryan Cohen, if he bought the company, starts taking his relentless cost-cutting measures to Best Buy's operations. That could be kind of an interesting story. I get it. It's all tinfoil. I told you guys I'm not going to talk about this stuff, but it did get put out on social media today. Check around on Superstonk or Twitter if you're curious on that story. I'm curious. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's look at NWBO, and then, maybe we'll look at Bitcoin and silver before we close out. Northwest Bio. I just don't look at bio stocks. No. Not really my thing. I'm going to say the same thing I say every single time. You're typically you're betting on a company that has no revenue, and you're betting on some approval of a device or a drug. I see no. Wait, they do have revenue here at least. At least they have revenue. But the net income, you got years here of negative net income. So I'm assuming that this is a bet on some good news coming, right? I don't know enough about biopharma stuff to be of any help in talking about probability of outcomes. But you know who does? You know who does know about pharma stuff? You'll probably hate them. And all I can say is he knows a lot more about it than I do. If you want to know about pharma stuff, go find you a pharma bro on YouTube. Clark says, top concert that he's ever seen is Elton John, Sir Elton. I bet that was the highlight. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool one, Clark. I'm trying to remember. I think probably the one that stands out in memory to me, and it's been a while, but it was George Strait and Reba together at the Frank Irwin Center here in Austin. Broke Ape. Did Broke Ape have a question on you that I missed? What's up, Broke Ape? I see you saying hello. Kelbro says, is AMC going under $1? We touched on that question briefly earlier. Maybe it's going under $1. I'm not making any firm predictions like some others are that it's definitely going to 75 cents. But I did say in my video today, I believe it will go lower than today's close. I'm trying to be respectful of the people who want to keep the hope alive. But, I mean, my honest opinion is look back at what happened last time they did an offering. That's what we were talking about here in the beginning of this video. Look at what happened from December 2024 to April 2025 when they had a similar hybrid forward collar ATM offering. You tell me what do you think is going to happen. This has nothing to do with point of interest. This has nothing to do with trying to punish GameStop. All this fucking nonsense people yapping about. Trying to hurt GameStop. Motherfuckers, they told you this was happening months ago. Months ago. They tell you in every 10K, Q1 working capital is going to be a problem. You should know by now to expect dilution if the company's low on cash in Q1. It has nothing to do with GameStop. It's the most fucking paranoid conspiracy bullshit I've ever heard. And it is part of the reason why I keep covering this stock, because people are stupid. Sorry. People are letting their conspiracy nonsense get in the way of common sense, where the company is telling you well in advance, months in advance, that this is going to happen and when. But then you act like it's a surprise and it's to hurt GameStop. Bunch of horse shit. Bunch of horse shit. Tell me you don't know what you're talking about without saying it out loud. Leonard Skinner, yes. Clark, yes. Billy Squire, yep. ACDC, Clark, what's up? I used to like Billy Joel's music when he was popular back in the day, Anya, but then I realized in my later years that he's just a fucking simp. And I don't appreciate any of Billy Joel's songs, and I don't appreciate half of country music now because they're all simps to their women. My wife is like, oh, do you like this country song? I was like, no, he sounds like a fucking pussy. Pardon my French. If I had to do it all over again, I'd still love you even though you broke my heart. Fuck off, man. Grow some balls. Fucking simps. Why is half of today's country music simp bullshit? Simp is a man who... What's the right way to say it, Anya? He forgoes his masculinity to make the woman happy. You cannot do that, gentlemen. You cannot do that. You can attempt to make your female happy. You do not ever forego your masculinity. Ever. If your wife is telling you what to do, you're a simp. If your wife is yipping at you, you're a simp. If you had to move out of your house into your dad's basement because you couldn't get along with your wife and keep her in control, you're a simp. That shit don't fly here, and I certainly don't want to see it fly in your house. Hubby doesn't listen. Oh, hubby don't listen. Anya, I mean, you guys have been married for a while. It's too late for him. Too late for him. I'm talking to the single men or the men who are married who are wondering why they're losing control of their marriage. Take fucking control, gentlemen. She's going to bitch. She's going to complain, but secretly she's going to love it. You wonder how I'm dating someone that is considerably younger than me? Because she enjoys a real man. Not this fucking pussy bullshit that is today's generation. Sparky says, cheers, cheers, cheers. They have bond exchange either just done or coming, which is more shares. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the bond exchange as some potential additional bad news. But Sparky, wouldn't you also think that it's not... the high short interest of AMC is likely related to the bond arb going on right now? And that once they do the exchange, a lot of that short interest should go away, don't you think? Dan says from the AMC plot, there was a good 50% run up in May. Yeah. May of 2025, it went from 250 to $3.89, $4. That's not a bad run. I wish that I would have played that one. I did not play this stock at all in 2025. That would have been a fine run, but I learned from that to anticipate what I'm likely to do in the next couple months. You can bet your bottom dollar that I'm looking at this right here. I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, can I get a 50% run on AMC in 30 days if I'm just patient enough to wait for this ATM and forward to be done? Do you think I'd take a 50% run in a month on you? Knowing me as you do, because you're in the Discord and you talk to me every day. I'll be right back. You damn straight I'd take it. I'd take it and I would sell. And if it ran 100%, I wouldn't look back and I wouldn't care. I made 50% in a month? Hells yeah. We'd take that. Anya says if Tony was up 50%, he'd sell most, but keep some. That is the new New Year's resolution, Anya. I'm trying to do better at keep some in my top bracket in reserve. Don't sell it all. I left too much gains in the table last year, selling some of my positions too early. Some I sold in brackets, some I just well, it met my price target, I'm out. And I don't regret any of it, but as I was going back analyzing my trades last year, I was like, if I would get better at bracketing my exits on the way up, then I could book more profits. I'm pretty good at taking an exit. If something turns against me, I'll just exit. That's not a big deal. I have no emotion about it. But the upside, you got to be good at letting the winners run, but take some profits along the way. Anya says, when you sell in brackets and you are up, which lots do you sell first? That is a good question, Anya. And the answer is it depends on every ticker. As you know, because you're in the Discord, a lot of the tickers that we're buying run up 50 or 100% in under a year. What are you going to do then? It doesn't matter. You're not worried about tax lots. Everything is short-term basis. But if you've been holding that stock for over a year now, maybe you have a conversation to have with your CPA or with yourself about, do I care about which tax lot I sell? Do I care about booking some losses or taking some gains? Because you might have shares at different prices. That really, it's a case by case question. Tonto says Palantir and HYMC. Yeah, I sold my Highcroft too soon. My only saving grace was I held on to my SLV till it was well over 100, which took away some of the sting a little bit of selling my Highcroft too soon. But I would have been better off doing it the other way. Would have been better off. I could have made 500% holding my Highcroft longer. I made 118% on silver in a couple months. I mean, it's not a bad trade. But I should have flipped it. Should have done it the other way around. I had no idea Highcroft was going to run that high. Beautiful. Love it. I was long. I posted when I went long. I told you on Twitter, I said, I'm going long. Don't copy my trades. I might be crazy. Some people are going to say I'm crazy. This is risky. But I could see that something was building up in silver. I bought Highcroft and I bought SLV, and I rode SLV all the way up. I exited Highcroft too soon. Came out good on both. Yeah, Anya, I don't think it matters about cheaper versus higher priced unless you're trying to manage tax strategies. Sparky says, do you have a choice anymore on what you sell? Absolutely. Yeah, you have to go into the menu and tell it. You don't just blindly go in and click sell any share. You go in and say sell by tax lot, and it will give you all your different tax lots, and you can pick if that matters to you. Even flim flam brokers like Robinhood will let you select by tax lot. Clark says, I regret not buying Hycroft. Clark, I think the only thing we can say is we regret not buying more. We regret not buying more, and we regret selling too soon. But it's come down a little bit. There might be around 2. Hycroft. Look at this. Okay, so when it peaked out here, I redrew the demand zones just as a reminder to myself when I might be interested in rebuying. And look where it's at. It's flirting. I redrew this weeks ago, and it's been flirting right here. But my Hycroft trading decisions are being driven by my analysis and my feelings. This is feelings about silver and gold. And if you're in the Discord and you're in the silver and gold room, you know my feelings. My feelings are I'm worried. I'm worried about a pullback to 45. And I said in the Discord, I'm okay if it shoots up in one day back to 100. I'd just say, well, shit, I missed it. But since I'm worried about a pullback to the 200 moving average, I would prefer for my risk management to make me sleep at night, I'd prefer some consolidation around the 50, which is where we're at right here. And so now we've had what? A week here. The longer that goes, the more likely I'm okay buying here. Yeah, every day I hesitate. I get it. I could miss a God candle going up to the green. But my spidey sense tells me I should also be worried about a demon candle dropping us back down to 45 or 50. I don't know. I'm not going to portray myself as some silver and gold expert. I'm just looking at charts and watching social media and trying to wade through all of the voices. The only thing I can say, and I'll keep saying this because I do believe it, and I think it's important to say it. Eric Sprott knows more than I do, and he's still buying Hycroft. So what do I know? Don't fucking listen to me. You want to get mad at someone, if it doesn't work out, you can blame him. I don't fucking know. I already sold mine. I'm looking. The longer silver and Hycroft are near this demand zone, the more I think about getting back in, but not back in yet. Anya says, did you see Brocate mentioned Hawaii Electric? No. What do we got? Holy crap, Anya. Woo! We knew this day would come. There was a magic day right around the end of December. Shareholder settlement, January 5th. All right, that'll be an interesting one to read up on. We knew this day would come. We were swing trading and selling, running the wheel on HE for a long time, and then we got kind of bored on trading it because the volatility got wrung out. It was just trading flat for a long time. But we always said one day when the settlement happens, this thing's going to be a binary decision. It's going to shoot all the way back up or go to zero. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty speculative, right? But look at that, Anya. Woo! $10 to $17. I love it. Clark says, Julie is telling me she liked it better when you had the message is coming in the is in the coming up on the screen. Huh? No comprendo. Clark says, do you think buying Tesla is a smart thing now. Silver and gold, silver and gold. That's all I know too, Palm Preller. Unless you want to see me throw my pickaxe up in the air and then Yahoo! You know what I'm talking about, Rudolph. Oh, Anya says you used to highlight some of the chats on the screen. That is when I am using Restream. I give Mediocre or Massalorian, if any of these guys would wake the fuck up, want to do some live streams, I would do Restream because I think it's good to put the chats up on there. But I do... I might switch. I'm using Streamlabs desktop right now, and it does not have a smooth interface for putting your chat up on the screen. I tried it and it doesn't work, and I wrote to tech support and they can't help. They're dumb. So I might just go back to OBS or switch to a different software. I don't like Restream because it kind of locks you in on the way you can move things around. But it is good for putting chats up on the screen, little bubble chats. But I've been thinking about switching to a different software where I could pop the bubble chats up there, because I do agree that is a nice feature. Anya says, tell Mediocre to come back because I think we need to start paying attention to ASPN. He is deep, Anya, in Weeble. Let's see how Weeble's doing. I'm in at 680 and 612. You guys know, if you're in the Discord, I added on the dip on February 5th. Thank you very much, Mr. Market. And so we like the little pullback here. We like the little bounce, sorry. And I think Mediocre got in a little earlier than me, so his cost average is a little higher. Anya, he's just he's trying to trade his way out of this thing. You know how he does. Selling covered calls if he can, lower his cost average, wait for the stock to pop. We don't hate Weeble. We actually think, even though I will say I don't have a defensible case, if you're going to be a stickler and say, give me your DCF analysis, I don't have a defensible case for Weeble. This is a little bit of a gut feel. It's speculative. Don't copy my trades. But we think that over the next 2 years, it could be a good trade. It has to be evaluated every single earnings. And if something is not going the direction I want, I will exit the trade even if I'm in the red. I don't care. But until such time, I think that Weeble is doing the right things to grow the company, add products, add countries. And I'm hoping over the next few quarters that things get better. And I know Mediocre is thinking the same, Anya. He just doesn't want to come in here and talk about Weeble. I told him we should. We should share with you guys why we're bullish. Maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe we'll be right. We will see. Pond Prowler says, don't have that drunk guy on. Wasn't that you? That guy was pretty funny, Pond Prowler. It was Anya. It was Pond Prowler that got drunk. Remember, he was drinking wine and Jack Daniels, and he was mixing a bunch of shit. Vindo Vasha. You can't hide from us with a different name. I know all your alts. Anya says, I must have missed that one. Hey, Vindo Vasher, do you remember what day that was? Tiny Boat Angler. Do you remember what day that was? I know you had to take care of him. These people came to visit me from California a couple months ago, and I caught the whole story about what happened after that live stream. Thank you for sharing the details. I mean, you didn't have to, but it added a lot of color to the story. It didn't end well. I'm not going to spill the beans here. All right. We talked about Highcroft. We talked about Silver. We talked about Webull, AMC, GameStop. Last thing, let's check. I haven't even looked. We were so busy today thinking about AMC. I didn't even look at Bitcoin. How's she doing? Wait, $31. Oh, we're fucked. BTC USD. 69.7. All right, that's not too bad. That means GameStop's down about $190 million. No biggie. The GameStop people tell you that's no biggie. What the fuck crack are they smoking? That's no biggie. Do you know if that was AMC that was down $190 million, how much they would be making daily videos talking about Adam Aaron as a fraud? He's losing money on purpose due to the hedge funds. But GameStop down 190 million, 180 million on Bitcoin. It's no big deal. I hope he buys more. I just notice little things like that when people talk out of both sides of their mouths. You know who's really good at doing that? Clowns. Talk out of both sides. Tonto says, how do we know they didn't sell? We don't know. That's a fair question. I mean, I hope they did sell rather than book $180 million loss. But I also, I'm a long-term believer in Bitcoin. So it's okay with me if they didn't sell, but I would never tell you it's not a big deal. That's where the fucking clown shows cross the line. When they're as bad as some of the, like the Bed Bath & Beyond people. Don't worry about it. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, it's a significant hit to the Q4 earnings. You should pay attention to it. They don't want to talk about it or act like it's a big deal because it is inconvenient to their message and their audience. That is called grifting. Be honest. $180 million hit is huge. Even if it's unrealized, it's going to impact the earnings. And we don't know what happens. What if it goes down to 40, 50? What if it goes up? We don't know. Like, I don't know. But I can tell you where it ended at the end of Q4 for GameStop, and that it's going to be about a $145 million negative impact to Q4. And I don't think that that is something you just gloss over as a non-event. And as long as people keep on lying on their GameStop coverage, calling something like $145 million loss a non-event, I'm going to keep covering GameStop. Because that kind of nonsense really pisses me off. They used to be good, and now they're just fucking making excuses every day. Every day lying to people, making excuses. I don't like that. Clark says, once people wake up to the utility super cycle that is coming, it will be too late. A lot of people don't even know what a utility super cycle is. All I know, Clark, is I'd feel a hell of a lot better buying in closer to 55,000 than 69, but it's kind of like the same discussion with silver. I could be greedy. I could be a bottom feeder. I could be waiting for 55 and completely miss the next run up, because there could be those 2 God candle days where I just get left behind. And then I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to chase it at this point. Kind of like what happened here. Dink, dink. I had a little bit of crypto left. My wife was having me go through a bunch of accounts. She's like, yeah, Bitcoin in that one. You should sell that. This was back here. I thanked her the other day. I was like, thank you for insisting that I sell that. It wasn't a lot. But now I'm kind of looking. Look, here's this 50-day moving average, 60,000. I kind of like this. I like this point right here. 60,000. Or is that 200? Hang on. That's the 200? Even better. Oh yeah, the 200 MA is at 58,000. I'd buy there. Come on, Bitcoin. Just 1 week of weakness. That's all we need. Okay. Oh, the last one that we're going to talk about. Tony, why aren't you pumping your penny stock? I love that. Go pump Railtown. Let's just start off by saying I'm going to talk about a penny stock, a non-revenue company, the riskiest of the riskiest. I'm not recommending this stock to you. Let's be clear. I do own it. And I'm trying to keep my cost average below 30 cents. I've been buying 90% of my position since December when we re-entered the demand zone. This is a Canadian sovereign AI company. The ticker in Canada is RAIL, R-A-I-L. In the US, it trades on the OTC, RLAIF. They have partnerships with TELUS, which is a huge technology company up in Canada. They recently merged with AI Partnerships. They have an agentic AI software that is going to be loaded in the TELUS factory to customers coming into TELUS's brand new AI factory that they built, outfitted with NVIDIA chips and solar power, water cooled, whatever the fuck. It's a sovereign Canadian AI play. I'm not saying this is going to be a global blockbuster, but it's a chance to invest in a AI company because we can't invest in most of them. Pretty damn cheap, under 30 cents. They have not reported revenue yet, but the TELUS factory with Railtown we're expecting comes online in February. And that is, I talked to the CEO for, I forget how long, hour and a half. He told me kind of around February is when they expect to start booking revenue. So if that is the case, then middle of this year, maybe we get an earnings report with our first glimpse of revenue, and it's still highly speculative because I don't know what the revenue and earnings are going to be. He don't tell me that. I don't get that kind of inside access, but it's kind of fun gambling a little bit. This is gambling on a pre-revenue to revenue trade where we're pretty certain it's going to become a revenue trade. It's unknown how much revenue, right? The other YouTubers covering this stock tell you it's going to be billions. This 25-cent stock is going to $55, they say. That's not me. I'm not saying that. If I could make a decent return, I'm going to be happy. If they're right, I'll be even happier, but I'm not going to promise you the moon. It's just a fun little speculative play. Pre-revenue to revenue. We'll see what happens. Go watch. I've got now 7 months of DD. You can follow my whole process of how I was not really thrilled about the company in the beginning, but the more I looked into them, maybe you got something there. Even May said, Tony, don't rule them out. You should do your homework. You know, if she says something, she's pretty smart. She's smarter than me. I look into it a little more. Maybe I shouldn't be so critical. The more I looked into this company and the management team of AIP and their access into the capital markets in Canada and other bigger players in Canada in the tech sector, and the fact that the management team has taken other companies and sold them at a profit, you know, it's an interesting little side bet. Do not bet your entire fucking portfolio on some shit like this, which is on the other YouTube channel, of course, what they're doing, right? I got $200,000 in this play. What the fuck are you guys doing? I mean, I hope it works out. But Jesus, man, if it doesn't, if the revenue comes in, even if it's positive, but it's low, you're going to get wrecked. Diversification, ladies and gentlemen, profitable companies. These are the speculative fun ones. We enjoy them because they keep every day interesting. Pon Prowler says the Drunk Fest with Dervindo Vasher was on October 1st. There you go, Anya. There you go. Clark says, if we can make a couple $1,000s on Railtown, we'll be satisfied. What I see, Clark, on these other channels is like the other YouTuber I heard him say the other day, he's down $400,000 on every other ticker that he's pushed over the last 5 years. So in order for him to get even, he needs to make $55 on Railtown, $55 per share. That is not how you come to a price target. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That don't work in my world. I don't look at how far I'm down on my count over the last 5 years and then say, if this one play goes from 25 cents to 55, I'll be good. No. The company has provided no information about revenue share percentage or what expectations we should have about revenue. So my recommendation is just be conservative. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. And if it surprises to the upside, we love that. Remember, I'm not ever going to tell you when to sell. That's the other thing. Tony just wants you to sell early so you can buy AMC. That's what they say. It cracks me up. No, I'm not going to tell you to sell, and I don't want you to buy AMC. These people, there's a bunch of clowns everywhere on YouTube these days. Anya, yeah. Clark says, Tony, what are the good blue chip stock companies? Clark, I think that is an excellent question to be covered on one video this week. What are our top plays for this year? Blue chip, profitable, growing earnings, ideally a dividend. And what are our, sometimes the value stocks kind of drop in our lap throughout the year, like some company stumbles. I posted a few of them in Discord last week. Amazon, I think, was one. When companies stumble, not Tesla in particular. Look at this. 258, and it went down to 196. Like, I like these kind of stumbles, Clark. These are the things we're looking for. But they kind of drop in your lap, right? And then you got to be able to analyze them. Why did it stumble? Do I think it's going to recover? What's my timeline for the recovery? I don't talk about these stocks a lot, Clark, because in most cases, my timeline is 2 to 5 years, and nobody fucking wants to hear about a stock like that. Well, I don't want to double my money. I don't want to make 40% in 5 years, or sorry, 20% in a year, 40% in 2 years. People aren't happy with normal market returns with relative safety. So I just don't talk about them much. It's not worth even my time to make the video. I just post in Discord. But maybe we'll turn over a new leaf and talk about them this year, Clark. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 11 o'clock. Let's play some going out music. I'm going to be here answering your questions in the chat for 7 more minutes. Let's play a couple songs. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat right now, or if you're watching this on replay, drop them in the comments after the video is done.
Hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edgy's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edgy's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edgy's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Green candle up and red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. King starts rising, stone strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edgy's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edgy's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edgy's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, God hold our ground. Edgy's games are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share.
Up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Ready warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right, up and to the right. We're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, the last is in sight.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.